Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing very well today. And look who's decided to join us today. He's back and we've been joined by Shahzad Khan and Maha Mukhtoom, and I hope you're ready for the last day of the week. Shahzad, how are you? How are you feeling?
I'm absolutely perfect, and I feel great that I've served the nation to the extent of my professional capabilities, and I think that
I heard that you were there. My friends messaged me.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for the opportunity offered to me by the ISPR2, and this is how I wanted to start the show today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Allah Almighty. I think without this, the things wouldn't have worked out for me.
That's excellent, and that's really good. But yesterday we had a really important show.
Yes, I know
yesterday we had a show on security and digital media and the effects on national security. And we, it was a really good conversation, and it was good. We missed you.
And even though I couldn't make it on time because of the fact that, I was working and, then there were late working hours as well. But as a matter of fact, I did enjoy the show. I watched it in repeat. And while I was just, in the day, I was just trying to catch up on my Z's. That's what it
we all
is.
need to do that, man.
But today, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very different day. And I think for everybody who's out there, it's going to be very important, and we're going to share some vital information about education
exactly.
today.
And it is kind of linked in with yesterday, so it's just kind of a continuation of giving you more information and letting you know what's the situation. So now let's go and do the news.
Yes. Pakistan has condemned the genocide of Rohingya Muslims. The federal cabinet, which met in Islamabad with Prime Minister Shahid Khalkan Abbasi in the chair, passed a resolution to this effect.
The United Nations has said that 300,000 more Myanmar Rohingya Muslims have been forced to flee to Bangladesh. Terrible state of affairs, what's happening?
Exactly. Cricket fans are showing great interest in purchasing tickets for Pakistan versus World 11 T20 matches to be played in Lahore next week. Match tickets for denomination of rupees 500 and 2,500 have been sold out. Tickets for other enclosures ranging between rupees 4,000 to 8,000 are still up for grabs. Well,
ooh, exciting.
I think anybody would be very likely to purchase these tickets.
Yeah. Swiss star Roger Federer has crashed out of the US Open tennis tournament, while top seed Rafael Nadal of Spain and Juan Martín del Potro, Argentina, qualify for the semi-finals.
That's going to be a sad news for Federer fans.
Okay, great. So the US Open is going to be exciting.
Exactly.
Yes.
So one of my friends yesterday wrote that, tennis is my drug and Federer is my dealer. Very sorry for saying that, but dude,
That's funny.
I don't think that you're going to make it into the market too.
Yeah, but that's a real surprise, actually. That's a shock thing. But now let's go to our public service message, and when you come back, we're going to get started with the show because there's a lot to discuss.
Exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, talking about a public service message, I think I will let Maha wear the hat today. So, Maha, go ahead.
Okay, right. I think you were going to do it. Okay, so no, it's linked with our shows for the last couple of days. It's all about security and protecting yourself online. If you have any form of social media or email accounts, make sure you have solid passwords, because people do hijack it and people do hack into your accounts, and it can cause a lot of problems and they can steal your identity. So anything that you do online, make sure it's a secure website, and make sure that you're not sharing your details.
Yeah, and there's one more as well, ladies and
no,
gentlemen.
you're not allowed.
It's very sorry.
No.
But I think it is very important for all the youngsters who are out there and for their parents too as well, because yesterday I read a headline in a newspaper which said that there is a game named as Blue Whale.
We spoke about that yesterday.
Yeah, you spoke about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So since I wasn't here yesterday, so that's why I just wanted to reiterate upon that as well. Please make sure that, if you get any sort of invitation for such a game, please don't indulge yourself into it, because 8 people have recently died within Pakistan just because of the fact that they were playing this game.
Exactly.
I do not really know how true this news is, but let's be careful.
No, but it's happening, and it's happened abroad as well. People are, these are, people are actually losing their lives. So it's, parents, it is also your responsibility to keep an eye out on what your kids are doing on the internet, because that's what we're going to be discussing. Because not everyone has the educational literacy to protect themselves or to know what the dangers of the digital world.
Exactly, that's how it is. But now moving on with what we are doing today, ladies and gentlemen, today is not just Friday. It's World Literacy Day, and it's
Yes.
the 51st World Literacy Day as well.
And the theme is
Yes.
literacy in the digital world.
Literacy in the digital world. And on this occasion, I think I would love to share what the Director General of UNESCO has to say
Yes,
about digital literacy as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, as per Irina Bokova, Director General of UNESCO, digital technologies permeate of all spheres of our life, fundamentally shaping how we live, work, learn, and socialize. So I think that's what we are focusing on as well. But other than that, whenever we talk about literacy, it's very hard for us to discriminate in between literacy and education, or differentiate in between literacy and education. So I think that the first part of our conversation is going to be that, and then how important is education, how to highlight education, and then what are the statistics?
Exactly, because the thing is, within Pakistan, the literacy figures, we've had a new census, people are trying to figure things out, and we need to move forward, especially with the sustainable development goals to achieve those.
And other than that, the best part, ladies and gentlemen, is that, you know, whenever it's World Literacy Day, so in Paris, where the headquarters is, there's this prize ceremony, and people are awarded different prizes and medals for the services, or the countries who have actually rendered some services in the field of education. So the best part is that, you know, Pakistan's getting one award too today.
Exactly.
And it's getting under the title UNESCO Confucius Prize for Literacy. It will be awarded to 3 countries. Well, the second one is Pakistan, and then they say that the Citizens Foundation from Pakistan, the foundation runs Agahi Literacy Program for women and out-of-school girls, and conducts digital education needs assessments and provides teaching services to support the education of younger girls and older women in the country.
Exactly.
So congratulations, Pakistan, way to go.
Yeah, well done, Pakistan. And that's another aspect we'll be talking about, is about the female literacy. It's about, you know, people, the older generation as well, because everyone keeps talking about the youth, but, you know, we still have the previous generation that are still alive, so we also need to make sure the situation for them is good. So, Shazad, who do we have today to discuss?
So yeah, we will definitely move on to that, Maha. First of all, there were a few more things which I wanted to discuss, and that is that, you know, we do have statistics about the literacy within Pakistan, and we have taken it from the Pakistan Observer page as well. So, you know, if in case the figures are not very correct, or not very close to what you think is correct, please do not think anything about us, because of the fact that we are picking it up from Pakistan Observer, and we've got them over here with us. So in the second part of the show, we'll be sharing the statistics too.
And also, if you have any other statistics, just send us a link and we can share this as well. So now let's introduce our guests and get the conversation started.
And to send us the link, you have to actually log on to our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning. So now moving on towards our guest, a very young, vibrant woman who has actually been on the show before too as well. She's none other than Ms. Rakshanda Parveen, who is a university teacher and a gender expert. Hello, ma'am. How are you? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, and thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Let's start the conversation from where we want actually you to explain that, you know, what is the difference between literacy and education?
There is a difference.
Yes.
What is it?
So, I mean, if you look at the definition, which anybody who has access to internet, who is digitally literate, can find out that ability to read and write and do a little bit of arithmetic.
Okay.
So that makes you literate.
Right.
And of course,
The
education.
ability to read and write.
Right, and to do
A little bit of maths.
arithmetic.
No, but over here in Pakistan, I heard that it was different.
What is it?
Anybody who could actually do his or her signature.
That's a street definition, right?
Yeah,
So,
that is that's like a compromise. That's like accepting minimum.
Bare minimum.
So, but this is the standard parameter.
Yes.
This is the standard definition.
Okay.
And education is, of course, is a much more extensive, more valuable thing. It's like spending years in schools and colleges and universities. It never ends. And the purpose is also different. Some take both literacy and education interdependent, something they are independent of each other. But yes, first you have to be a literate, and then you can become educated.
Then you can build up on that. Okay, excellent.
Exactly. That's
Okay,
what
so
it
now,
is. I think it was wonderfully described.
yeah,
as well.
exactly. So now the thing is, within Pakistan, as Shazad mentioned, we have a different definition of literacy and literacy as well. You know, we've made a compromise. Now, making this compromise, what challenges has that presented?
See, I mean, we are seen as, or as one of the most illiterate nations, and 49% of illiterate people are from South Asia. The 23% is from Africa. So you see, Africa and South Asia, they constitute the major proportion of the illiterate people
Of the entire globe?
Of the entire world.
Okay.
And definitely, we all know that why do we need literacy and thereafter education for the national development, for the personal development. And what does development means? Good life for all people. So it's a basic human right, it's a fundamental right, it is an enabling right. So once the enabling right is absent from the lives of so many people, you can imagine the consequences.
Exactly, and we do have other people to discuss about literacy and education as well, but before we introduce them, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go for a short break. Don't go anywhere because we are observing World Literacy Day.
Yes.
Good morning.
Literacy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you're watching World this morning alongside Maha Maktoum and Shazad Khan. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are observing World Literacy Day.
Yes.
We have been joined by Ms. Rakshanda Parveen, but there's somebody more to it as well, and he's none other than Mr. Faisal Mushtaq Tamgai Imtiaz, Educationist, CEO, Roots Millennium. Hello, how are you? Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for making it to the show.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you very much.
How do you feel about the day?
It's fun. For me, it's one of the most important days.
Of course.
And I would like my fellow citizens to be, and the stakeholders to be sensitized on this day. So I would like to thank PTV World for hosting us this morning.
Okay, so now during the break we were discussing, you're saying that the nation needs to be sensitized to the word literacy and, you know, what does it actually mean? So what do you mean by that, and where do we stand, do you think, as an educationist yourself, on the status of literacy? What's our stance?
Most, you know, overspoken and less understood word is called literacy in Pakistan. And to tell you the truth, that gone are the days of conventional warfares. I mean, warfares and nation states today, they want to protect not just the kinetic energy, but the non-kinetic energy. And so the social indicators, health, education, national security are defined by the literate societies that the nation states built.
Okay.
As much concerned we are of a national security, let me tell the state and the citizens that the 200 million people, the 20 crore people living in Pakistan are subjects, not citizens. The single common denominator to convert subjects into citizenry is a term called literacy.
Okay.
You're alive and you're aliens. If you land in China, in your immigration form, you fill in alien or non-alien.
Yeah.
It means visitor or non-visitor. As long as you're not literate, you can't move forward. So, to me, the nation today lacks not just the national action plan, the national literacy plan.
Okay.
And the people, those who are not custodians of promoting teaching and learning and getting kids to school, should be held accountable.
Okay, now I've got two things to ask. First of all, how do you think Pakistan is doing?
Pakistan is doing okay. I mean, to tell you the truth, we have not done a fairly good job with literacy. Overall, the literacy numbers are increasing, But you tell me what is that our nation can't do?
Yeah.
I mean, you know about a resilience. The world talks about a resilience, whether it's the national disaster or whether it is as a national and a social cause. So I do feel that the national priorities are more centered into creating economic prosperity through strategic projects. But the real project is the literacy project.
But the only reason I asked you this question was since you weren't on time as well, but this year we are getting UNESCO Confucius Literacy Prize as well, and it is being awarded to Pakistan today in Paris at the UNESCO headquarters
I'm
for,
aware,
for different NGOs who have actually worked really hard as well.
It is going to the Agai program of the Citizens Foundation, and there are 5 countries that are being awarded: Colombia, Canada, Pakistan, Jordan, and South Africa.
Very nice.
So, of course, you know, I mean, we
On
read
spot.
about it. This is phenomenal, but that's just one success story
Yes.
by a civil society organization. And let me tell you that Citizens Foundation is doing a great job.
Okay.
But the question is there public-private partnership?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about it. So, Rakshanda, you've been working within this, and especially, Pakistan is, as we mentioned a few times, receiving a prize, and it's about, also promoting women's literacy. So, tell us, within Pakistan, within the work that you're doing, especially within the females, what policies are we taking? Are we modifying our policies in order to create more literacy, especially with the theme, which is digital? Within the digital world, what's the situation right now?
Well, situation can be improved.
Okay.
We know that our country doesn't rank very good on gender inequality index.
Yeah.
And I don't want to tell that rank. So it's very disappointing. And education is one of the key areas of human development. And when you look at the gender disparities, it is even more disappointing,
Right.
because of different reasons.
Okay.
So now the census is over, so we'll find out that there are more women, there are more girls than we actually think they are. They are seldom counted accurately. So it's okay that some civil society organizations are doing it, some are doing tremendous job, and there are private organizations. Faisal Mushtaq's venture is doing an excellent job in Pakistan, but this is not enough, because basically this is the responsibility of the state, and every child should be in the school, and there should also be adult literacy program.
Okay.
So again, as Faisal Saab has already mentioned, it's a matter of priority. So we have to ask ourselves today, because we are celebrating this day along with the nations around the world, that is it our priority?
Member nations.
Yeah.
Okay. So now the thing is, but then that's the thing. I mean, as you both aptly mentioned, we talk about it a lot. We know that education, we know literacy. We always talk about that's how the nation's going to go forward, and the youth, and this. And we're constantly talking about it. And the last 4 years,
Just talking.
Yep. So now there
Very
are different, different people, different organizations. They are trying to do that, play their role within the society. Now, in order to, because that's the thing, we've talked about the problems a lot. So let's talk more about the solutions and how can we now do justice to the citizens. So I'll start with Faisal, and then I'll move on. The same question to you, Roxanne, as well. That now, as educationists yourself, as people who have a voice, how does, it is a state responsibility, absolutely, but how do we make it more important? How do you take that message home, really, so that parents are realizing that, every kid on the street needs to be literate. They need to have this
Policy
opportunity.
and priority, it comes from the leadership, governance. After the 18th Amendment, education is a provincial subject. The most important person is actually not the Prime Minister. It is the Secretary Education of that province, and then, of course, the Minister Education. But there we have secretaries for literacy, secretaries for adult literacy, for special needs, so on and so forth. You look at the constitution and you look at the governance structures and hierarchy, phenomenal. But when you look at the implementation, let me give appreciation to Punjab and KPK for making a lot of progress on literacy.
Yeah, they
KPK
have.
and Punjab are making a lot of progress. Kashmir is already very high on literacy. Eventually, we need to move on to the model like City, 99% literacy rate. That's fine. Let me remove the cliches about literacy that, you need some jazz, you need some private schools. No, you don't need anything. City is a very good example for Pakistanis. Same men and women, imbued by the values of Islam and the culture of Pakistan and going to school in their social, traditional, national way. We want every town and city to be sensitized on that. Number two, creating a national literacy plan. You asked me what's most important for me. For me, CPEC means Citizens of Pakistan Education Corridor. You create that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You create that corridor. We are celebrating Defense Day. Do you think literacy is not the opportunity for national defense? You asked me in 21st century, our real men are going to fight through standing armies? Real nations are going to fight through literate societies. At times, I can't sleep at night. That why my leadership, my political leadership, social structures, economic structures, national leadership do not come together and develop and devise the national literacy plan. I tell you what, time is not on side. We keep talking about 1 and 2 success stories. Private sector ain't the answer. It's a public sector responsibility.
Yes.
We need to move on. What is that we can't do? If we can build bridges, roads, infrastructure, nuclear capability, strategic deterrence, and a great army and a civil society structure. So let's take an example of Citizens Foundation, an organization which is getting awarded by the UNESCO on account of the 51st literacy year, 51st literacy initiative.
Exactly.
So Citizens Foundation, coming from nowhere, creates a global impact, and there are other foundations which are working that. Why can't state learn lessons from organizations like Citizens Foundation and replicate that model in public sector? Well, Punjab and KP are doing it, but the reason I'm saying it with this passion and commitment is that I want my fellow citizens and my countrymen to please understand and realize it ain't a day to talk about it, oh gosh, happy literacy day. No, I'm sorry. There's more passion in celebrating some other action days, but I think we need far greater commitment.
But
Yeah,
I
there
think
needs to be
it's-
action.
Yeah, and I think it's because of the fact that, since we are talking, it's not that, Happy Literacy Day, but it is to create a ripple effect as well. But other than that, Rakshanda, I think I'll move on to you. Now, very correctly, Mr. Faisal Mushtaq has mentioned that, the warfare has changed, we've evolved.
Yes.
Now, what happens is that we saw it in Pakistan as well, even ever since we have been fighting terrorism, that, it's the era of proxy war as well. And when we talk about digitalization, I think it has to do quite a lot with proxy war too as well. Now, as a matter of fact, how do you think that we are going to evolve in a way where it's not just the warfare, it's not just the technology, it's not just the missiles we are making, but we are producing laureates, we are producing scholars, we are producing people who are bringing us Nobel Peace Prizes as well. How do we do that?
Not only Nobel Peace Prizes, but also prizes, because Nobel Peace Prize is quite politicized. Yeah, so let's be, and here,
Relevant, we're creating people who are able to
from
get
here,
it.
I want to
That
actually,
was just another dimension. That's it.
yeah, and it could be one of the many perspectives. But what I want to highlight, taking advantage of this opportunity, to what could be the solutions. So there is no magical recipe, but some possible practical actions could be, as Faisal has already pointed out, that look at the priorities of the leadership. So look at the challenges in the implementation. In 2017, you can hardly find any person who is not convinced that education is not important. Education is not relevant to us. It is, but why we can't translate, our intentions into realities? Why can't we go beyond the rhetoric?
So you tell us, because you guys are on the ground level.
So first, problem diagnosis is important, and that is the most difficult part, because we want to look good. It's very difficult, to look inwards and to face certain inconvenient truths. So you have to be very, very serious about it. I mean, you means me and you and we as nation and those who are in decision-making corridors. And we have to create, well, we have to invest on the infrastructure, but we have to focus on creating and institutionalizing knowledge corridors. We have to be very inclusive, that are we ensuring that everyone in Pakistan can have access? I'm not talking about quality education. I'm just talking about just education, okay? Can be literate? No. And this digital literacy, by the way, we are ranking quite high as Pakistanis on digital literacy, but it is a pseudo indicator. It could be very misleading that becoming happy or surprised or shocked that your mate who is illiterate can actually text in Roman English. You know, it doesn't make me happy. I feel sad that why a woman of my age, why a girl of my daughter's age.
I think it's Urdu in Roman English though.
Yes, whatever. It's Urdu in Roman English, or sometimes they try English as well, because English is no longer the British English that Maha speaks, but it's like English in many different dialects and versions. But the thing is that let's come out of this denial, you know, and let's not accept pseudo indicators of development.
Okay. Okay, so now this is the thing. Okay, so first of all, you know, you both interact with people from the ground level to the policymakers. Now, why are we so, okay, this is, because this is not an attack, this is trying to find out how do we now move forward. Why are we in this kind of dream world regarding literacy, and why are we able to put it on the backseat compared to, you know, because that's the thing, you're right, every time you turn on the news, it's about some business development or some economic growth or investment here, investment there, money here, money there. You don't see the same on education. Why are we not there yet? Because until that becomes a real cause of the people, then only will the leadership take notice.
And are we witnessing a paradigm shift in terms of digitalization as well?
I'll come to digitalization second, but let me first respond to what Faryal said.
Maha
said, sorry.
That's Faryal's Amir's wife. Yes.
No comments.
Yes, continue.
So, sorry. You see, three things.
Yeah.
The political will, the national political will, remember, it is a political will.
Okay.
It should be the manifesto of the political and social parties.
Okay.
Number two, the academic skills, getting the right people to do the job for you.
Right.
And together, the state needs to pay the bill, the budgetary allocation. So it's a story of three people, Mr. Skill, which is the public sector, Mrs. What you call it, Mr. Will, which is the public sector, Mrs. Skill, which is the right people, and the national bill.
And we can
so
see
you
the
need to
gender
put three things.
discrimination here as well.
On digitalization, let me comment. I agree with what Rukhsanda just mentioned. Pakistan, it's not happening, things are not happening anymore in Pakistan. I say to young people, Pakistan is happening. Everything is on an app. Happening. So the, so the buzzword is happening. E-literacy is old-fashioned, Pendu thing to do. It's M-literacy, mobile literacy.
Okay.
Nokia, Samsung, Intel, Microsoft, they have launched massive M-literacy initiatives. So when we talk about the thematic context of digitalization in literacy, it is important because we just got the recent provisional consensus figures. The size of the agrarian economy has reduced from 68% to 54 to 56%. So there's a rapid urbanization. People are moving towards new cities and so on and so forth. So, even the people in village, they need in their own local context. Even you see all the illiterate people, those who work around us, they still know how to write a message in their own vocabulary, the language and the expression and the words that they use. So mobile literacy through the digital platforms is important, and even e-literacy through the digital platforms. When we talk about digitalization, United Nations means platforms, creating opportunities for scale. Because remember, without these three S's, you can't sustain yourself.
Absolutely.
Whatever you want to do, it has to be done on a scale. Then whatever the state does, it should be able to sustain.
Exactly.
And both of them equals the social impact. And together, it is called a success story. Sustainability, scalability, social impact equals success story.
Thank you very much.
And finally, Rukhsanda, any final words that you'd like to say on this day? Because we've actually run out of time.
Yes, I mean, if education is a must, and we should know the cost of illiteracy, and it's a part of the transformative change agenda for 2030. It's a very important sustainable development goal, and there is no other option but to get literate and educated.
Great.
Thank you very much for being
your
over
time.
here.
I
Such
also
an
have to
important
say
day.
something.
Oh, quickly,
Literacy should be a national security subject because we live in a security paradigm. It should be a national security subject.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for being over here. But ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, yesterday, in fact, on 6th of September, it was the Defense Day and Yom Shoda as well. On the 7th, it was the Pakistan Air Force Day. And today, ladies and gentlemen, it's Pakistan Barrier Day, which is the Pakistan Navy Day, for all of the services they've rendered for the motherland as well.
Yes.
We definitely have a song dedication for them as well. But before that, we would like to wrap it up. So do not forget to write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of.
Well, this morning.
On Twitter.
Well, this morning without the G.
On Daily Motion and YouTube.
Well, this morning.
And the fabulous repeat's going to be at
11:05, 11 p.m. in the evening. Have a wonderful weekend. Be good, be safe, and we'll see you bright and early on Monday
So till
morning.
then, Pakistan Zindabad.
दरिया भी तुम कोहसार भी तुम मर्ज़े पाक के बेटे हो दरिया भी तुम कोहसार भी तुम रहबर तेज़ हवाओं के और मिल्लत की ललकार भी तुम मर्ज़े पाक बेटे हो दरिया भी तुम कोहसार भी उस माँ